Well, that's me. Eat Right Now with Chef Wendell. I got that name many, many years ago from a friend of mine at Bush TV, and I thought I'd just stay with it and let her rip. So, but it's a beautiful day, beautiful souls. I almost died in 1988. Could have gone either way, actually. The choices I made about what I ate and my blind obedience to the standard American diet that we've been eating for over 100 years now kind of did me in. I weighed 300 pounds, and there you see me in the middle. Kind of started, I wanted to see what, I was an old hippie in the summer of love. I just wanted to sneak that in. But so maybe it all started back then, my road to wellness, because everything in our life basically is what everything we do gets us to where we want to be. I was winded, basically just walking across the street. I weighed 300 pounds, smoke and drank with Olympian panache. I always had a bucket of the Colonel in my hand. If you ever watch my show on Channel 8, if you have for years, you know that I refer to a certain breakfast product as poop tarts. Because they're just the nastiest stuff you can put in your body. But I eat them pretty regularly. I was denying my body all kinds of nutrition. But a box of Krispy Kremes, I was that close to a nap. I was told I was going to die. You know, I was get ready, you're going to die. So by age 40, I was a hapless mess of inflammation, and I call it clueless in Indianapolis. 300 pounds. I hit the cigarettes real hard. I drank at Olympian levels. I was lazy. I was a vegophobic, and I lived doing junk food. And I weighed 300 pounds. And I thought that was normal. I thought, well, this is what we do in America. This is how we are. We eat these foods. We're supposed to eat well. We don't put food in context with disease. So that was my wake-up call. I'm laying on the hospital bed. My doctor just told me that I had atrial fib, congestive heart failure, my heart doubled in size, had 7 pounds of food around it, my electrical system had shut down, and there wasn't basically much left of my heart. It was just struggling to get, and I'm still smoking cigarettes and eating Colonel Sanders and not making the connection between what I was putting in my, this is not about religion today, but I think every belief system and religion in the world refers to the body as a holy temple. And so I wasn't really caring for my holy temple in the best way I could have. And I got my wake-up call. So, you know, the doctor used to come in every day and say, Mr. Fowler, oh, you're going to die. Get prepared. And it was like, you know, he's telling me what time it was. It was that casual. And this went on for 2 or 3 days. I finally said, look, if you can't come back in the room and smile at me, you come in this every day and tell me I'm going to die, can you not do that? Anyway, one night I'm in my hospital room, and you know, I hope you haven't spent time in the hospital room, but I spent a lot of time. And, you know, at nighttime when the monitors are beeping and you're all alone, you hear the footsteps outside your door, little bells ringing, someone yelling, stat, stat, blue code, and you're staring at the ceiling. You think about a lot of things. I remember one night after being told I was going to die, get prepared with no sense of any kind of hope that I had that was not given to me. I remember feeling a little puff of wind on my cheek. And again, how you do that, but I thought, wait a minute. This is a hospital room. There's no mosquito or fly or moth in here. How could that be? So I literally brushed it off, so to speak, and forgot about it and went on. Later on in my life, I look back just a few years later, and I realized that it was a miracle. I walked out of there 2 weeks after being told I was going to die, get prepared, call your family, get your legal stuff in line, to walking out 2 weeks later, a complete miracle with doctors could not explain what happened to me. And so I started thinking, wow, I'd experienced a miracle. And because that was after that night that I started getting better and feeling better. And the doctors were scratching their heads and wanting to know what I had, well, they didn't want to know what I had done. See, that's the whole thing. They didn't understand what had happened, but they didn't know how to have an explanation for it. I took charge. I had a positive attitude. I didn't I didn't make the disease my best friend. So anyway, get prepared, Mr. Fowler. So, you know, the next day, I knew the deepest part of me, I really did, that I wasn't going to die, and not at least today. It's not my time. So I'm 100% convinced that was divine intervention that night, because from that point on, I've been a chef all my life. I've cooked for presidents, and I've been MBA caterer for 16 years, and I've catered for some really cool people and jets and big la-ti-da parties and all that stuff. But I just wasn't, I started changing the way I ate, and I started changing the way I cooked in my hospital room. But anyway, not my hospital room, in my kitchen, so my catering kitchen. So we had a catering business for many, many years. But I started noticing that people were starting to really like what I was cooking. So I had a second chance. I got to the hospital. I put down the cigarettes. I put down the liquor. I was still drinking a little bit, having wine here and there, but I kind of started gradually getting away from things. You know, that nothing's perfect. You always kind of maybe get back to things, but I did pretty good. Finally held my ground and succeeded in getting rid of all my old habits again, because I had a strong desire in me that my mission was, something was eating at me. It says, you got to teach the world how to eat all over again. It's got to teach them how to eat all over because we got messed up. We got waylaid on the road to our health, on the road of, I call it, nutritional unrighteousness. We've been eating all the wrong foods. And now we were starting to pay for it. But anyway, I filled out the application with the universe, and I took my job, surrendered, put down the alcohol, the cigarettes, and I accepted my life's mission. So here I am, standing before you. 28 years of research, personal application, 4 books, a TV show for 16 years, and a syndicated health column. I'm grateful because I would not have been able to do any of this if I had not had that holy 2x4 worked upside my head, telling me that, hey, I need you to do a job. Now I'm going to scare the crap out of you and get your attention. And it worked, because, you know, when you smell the Grim Reaper's death and you know he's drooling and rubbing his hands together, anticipating you dying, and you disappoint him, and I laughed him right out of there, and both me and my roommate, both had been very, very sick and told we were going to die, and both of us were miracles. We walked out, so it was a double thing. So anyway, and this was me. That was me at my 300 pounds. That was me in the hippie days, and there's me when I weighed 300 pounds, and there's me today. Hopefully, I'm going to hold, and I'm holding it. I mean, it's been a long time now that I've kept this weight off, but I feel better. I never thought I'd feel this good in my life. But you see, the big picture here in America is, and we're not seeing it because it's not really put in front of us. We're not really told that the food system is bad. My gosh, it props up the economy. And the last thing anybody wants us to do is stop drinking Mountain Dew and eating poop tarts and eating foods that were made in a factory, because that's where disease is our body's way of going, what are you doing? Why are you putting this in me? I'm showing you disease, I'm showing you symptoms, but you don't pay attention to me. It's nature's way of telling you something's wrong. But we were given a drug by a pharmaceutical company that hushes our body's protests. And we don't feel those symptoms anymore. But the disease goes on. We still eat the same food. We fail to put food in context with disease in America today. So we see these statistics are all supported by every medical magazine in the country right now. We are the sickest and obese nation on earth. And this comes from the World Health Organization. This is not just a bunch of people sitting in a room making decisions here. And basically, their disease is a vitamin deficiency. We don't get enough vitamins. Your body depends on vitamin nutrition. If you don't get vitamins, it's like building a house and not having the tools. You're going to pick up whatever scraps you need and try to put together a house, but you know you're opening up yourself to disease. And I don't know about you. Do y'all remember that movie Towering Inferno? It was an old classic, and they built this building out of inferior ingredients, and of course the building crumbled. Ironically, it was the people who made the bad decisions on the top of the building. So a little bit of irony, though, but it's the same thing here. There's 45% of all Americans have at least one disease. We got to ask what's wrong here. And since the 90s, look at these numbers. These numbers are all statistics, and especially autoimmune disease. These things have actually doubled since the mid-90s, and that means in another 10 or 15 years, they're going to double from that. If things don't change, that is. And things are changing, I see that. Cancer rates increased by 50%, and then by 2020, it's going to be a plague. It is a plague now. And inflammation is everywhere. We don't know what inflammation is, or maybe you don't know what inflammation is, but it's your body's reaction to putting something in that just shouldn't be there. And your body's way of attacking itself. You get rid of this foreign ingredient that's in your body. So you set up this situation. So we have inflammation, we have autoimmune disease like lupus, celiac, type 1 diabetes, all these things are increasing. And they've actually connected, this is science, they've actually connected our aggressive social behavior and our bully attitudes and our intolerance with each other to our brains being starved of the food, vitamins that feed the seat of our emotions. And that would be the vitamins like omega-3, which you can get not only from fish, but you can get it from plants too. They're just not telling you this. omega-3, D3, your B complex, your B12. There's a certain group of vitamins, and even cholesterol actually feeds your brain. So when we don't have a lot of these chemicals in our body, our brain cannot function in the way that it was designed by, I'm not sure who you believe in. You know, we all have your God you can believe in, but I don't think the God that I believe in created me anything other than perfect. You can believe whatever you want, but this is what happened to me. But the average American, I was like the average American, I was sleepwalking through life under the illusion that our food system is safe. And now there's enough science out there, volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes of science out there now, showing that the American food system that we've grown up with and beloved is actually causing all of our diseases. Up to 45% of all the diseases that we get in America, is cancer, heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune, it just goes on, Alzheimer's, can be tracked directly to the increased amount of chemicals that they throw into our food, and then the lack of nutrition that gives your body the wonderful ability to fight off and defend itself the best way possible. We may not cure disease, but at least I'm going to give my body the best chance it can to deal with what's coming at me. And I've proven it over and over and over again. So it's not like people say, what do you want to live to 150? No, I want to feel good right now. I'm not worried about when I'm 150. All that matters is what I'm feeling right now. But we live on blind trust, where we become kind of zombies, allowing total strangers to cook our food for us in a factory far, far away. And the people cooking the food are not like your mother, and they don't really care too much about the nutrition in the food that you eat. They're just worried about making a profit, and I understand that. Capitalism is what we live by here, and that's okay. But modern society, and I'm going to repeat this several times, doesn't place food in context with disease. We place it in context with pleasure, an event, family members. I mean, come on, I love tradition. I love that big old meal we eat, and I'm not saying don't do that anymore. I'm just saying we need to reevaluate how we put emphasis on certain things and things that are actually hurting us. Our birthright, basically, of health. We are all born with the birthright of health. Is under assault right now from what I call a disconnection from the earth that supports all life. If you look at how the earth is designed to support everything that it creates on it. That's the way our great Creator did it. It gave us everything we need. But now we're grasping the hand of God and trying to genetically modify and make food. And I used to know a guy who worked out at the gym. I became a gym rat, of course, when I got out of the... But I remember he coming to the gym one day and just almost cackling and dancing up and down like a little alchemist in a lamp. He goes, we invented the blueberry. And we invented the blueberry that they put in Kellogg's and all these cereals. That he was so proud of himself because he had invented a blueberry that resembled a real blueberry, and now it's in your cereal. So we can't have the attitude of wanting to play God, because it just never fails. That's just false hubris. So anyway, the genesis, so you can see the big picture here. I mean, it's pretty obvious. This is pretty well everywhere. And here's the standard American diet that we've talked about before. We were given this as kids. Our grandparents were given this to follow. And this has been around for 100 years. However, the way it's designed and the lack of nutrition in it, you look at these numbers. These all came from JAMA, which is the mountaintop in America of peer-reviewed medical science. There's no doubt. That means everybody agreed that 45% of all the deaths caused by heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes are caused by our standard American diet, which we cling to tenaciously because we don't want to change. And I understand change is something nobody likes, even though it's the most consistent thing in our universe is change. But our diet is missing vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, enzymes, probiotics, omega-3s. That's not really in our diet, not enough. The RDAs are so low, like they said you only need 400 milligrams of vitamin D. Well, you should be eating, 1,000, 2,000. So we're getting bad intelligence, so we can overcome that. We know where to get the good information. And plus, the standard American diet is loaded. Well, it came out of the Industrial Revolution where everything went mechanical. We took a departure from nature and we went into a machine for our food now. And I understand there's a lot of people to feed in this world. I understand that. But those foods ended up being very high in chemicals to preserve their shelf life. They were genetically modified. They're loaded with sugar, high fructose corn syrup, sodium, all these things you can see that. But not much emphasis ever put on plant foods. That's odd that the apothecary of the universe gave us is something that was not pointed to and said, hey, you need to stay more on this. But, again, we're learning. So I'm going to go on to the Industrial Revolution here. The genesis of disease is here. The Industrial Revolution, as I said before, was a great thing. I remember people telling me it was the best thing that ever happened to me. By golly, we helped a lot of people. Yes, we did. We did a lot of great things. But on the other hand, it was the beginning of the devitalization of the food we eat. I think that we have to look at ourselves and say, you know, Industrial Revolution, okay, we had to deal with that. We basically, as human beings, don't like to change. Again, I'd say it's basically asking someone to change their religion. We're a little bit vegophobic because of our divorce from Mother Nature. We have a very lusty demand for convenience, from eating like low-energy fast foods. Food is energy, everything's energy. And then increasing consumption of chemical compounds. There is a certain level of food addiction in America today. It's science now, okay? This is science. Flour, sugar, cheese, salt, cigarettes, tobacco, alcohol, the basis of our American diet are all addictive. So it's not like you've done this to yourself. You've had a little help. You've kind of been in hand, you know, like, I remember when we were kids on the street corner, a little guy was packing out miniature packages of cigarettes, trying to get us to smoke cigarettes when we were like 10 or 12 years old. I'm sure some of you guys remember that. They stand on the street corner. The standard American diet, widespread vitamin deficiency, as you see there, the standard American diet. And then the media bias. There's a lot of information we're not getting because it's filtered pretty aggressively through the systems of, you know, CNN, Fox, and all the major companies. And actually, you talk to somebody inside the business, and I know lots of them. They will tell you there's a lot of things. No, we can't talk about this. No, let's not talk about it. No, we got to keep this going. And there's a lot of pharmaceutical money flowing everywhere to get everybody to not place food in context with disease. But you know, if you have disease and you've got a little chunk in your trunk or whatever you want to call it, I want you to know something. And I say this from the bottom of my heart. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Don't beat yourself up. That's more damaging than anything else that could be to you. You didn't do this. You were encouraged to eat this way. You've been misled. But the positive thing is, it's never too late. I don't care how old or young you are. I mean, it's never too late to make a few little changes in your diet. It's not overnight. It's a matter of making one little change, getting used to it. My wife and I did it slowly. We made one change, and then we made another one. We got used to it. We realized it was a marathon. It wasn't a sprint. We run out of one thing, and then we find an alternative for that. So it's not that we had to give up a lot. We just had to go out in the grocery stores and find out that, oh, hey, there are substitutes for this. It still tastes pretty good. Oh, you mean I can eat this and it's healthier than what I was eating? But you got to go out there and read labels. There was a lady who said, I didn't know vitamins even came from food. What? I write a column for Southside Times. I was giving a Franciscan talk not too long ago, and honest to gosh, the disinformation that we've received and the lack of information and the biased information has made us disattached from what we were supposed to eat, like vitamins, and we think they come from a pharmacy. This lady actually didn't know vitamins came from food, and she actually said that to me, bless her heart. And while she was pulling an oxygen tank, and she had the oxygen up her nose. I mean, she was very sick, in other words. So the irony was, I didn't know, because she didn't eat that way all her life, so therefore she's as sick as she can be, bless her heart. But she saw hope. She sees that there's ways that she can do things. She started making changes. And you know, I want to say another thing, our fear of vegetables and produce and things that come from, I call it God's apothecary. You know, we weren't born to hate each other. We didn't come out of the womb hating each other as people. Nor did we come out of the womb with a hate for produce and vegetables. We were taught to hate these things by our parents, by our grandparents. That's why I'm saying it's not your fault. You're inheriting an ancestor's way of eating. It goes way, way back. But it's time for a change. So you must forgive me again for thinking the food system is broken. We're kind of brainwashed a little bit. We have TV coming at us all the time saying, eat this, McDonald's, and Tony the Tiger being a nutritionist rather than somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. But a lilting mascot should not be our doctor. basically, we all have what we call an inner healer. Everybody came with this from the manufacturer. You have your own Department of Defense, but it needs you to give it what it needs in order for it to do its job. So when we mess with food and we play God, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to pull a George Bush and say, read my lips. Man will never, 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 ever, ever improve on the creation, on the works of creation. God, whoever your God is, pick one, insert here. Whoever you deem created this world and this universe, and the heavens and the sky and the stars and the galaxies, we will never be able to outsmart the mechanics of a universe that we don't even begin to understand from the beginning. So this is why it's important that we return to Earth and stop eating, excuse my language. But we're all big boys and girls here, but the acronym is right. You know, you need to think about this. This is a good example of what a divorce from nature is. We love our carbonated drinks. We eat sugar all the time, both highly addictive. We eat artificial foods made from a factory that has no soul. And we eat processed foods that have had all their energy devitalized. Everything has energy in it. We are energy, the air is energy, the color is energy, the carpet is energy, the dog, the word, the thought, the focus, the color, everything is energy. Einstein, Tesla, Hawking all say this. So the higher the vibration frequency of a food, the higher we vibrate. The higher we vibrate, the healthier we are. Okay, this is science, this is quantum physics, this is not me pulling a theory out of the air. So when we eat foods that are zero vibration frequency, that are dead, which is all this food that we're talking about right now, we become a little dead. Well, it doesn't kill us, but it doesn't give us anything. You gotta say, does this food feed me, or is this food going to deplete me? And this is something we don't say when we go up to a box of blue box of macaroni and cheese, you know, that we've grown to love. I mean, my grandmother would be freaking out if we didn't make our own macaroni and cheese, you know, like, what? But anyway, somehow the space-time continuum is different in this generation because we seem to have a lot less time nowadays. I think it's because we don't make the time. But anyway, we got foods like this in our system. And then I think all of you here, if you have lupus, you should be very, very, very aware that food colorings and all these chemicals that we're putting in our food exacerbate what's going on in our body. This is, I mean, it's in your, if you want to copy this, I'm sure the girls will be able to get you a copy of this, but this is not food. This is man playing God. This is man. I saw a thing about a dog food thing the other day. Food colorings in dog food too are making dogs sick. And it made me think, like, do you really think gravy train, dogs care whether gravy train makes its own gravy? In other words, they're trying to market things to you, not the dog. See, dogs are colorblind. They don't know whether there's colors in their food. The thing is, food colorings are all over our diet right now, and you've seen the reactions that people have. Because, you know, our bodies are not meant to deal with this type of food. Our bodies are, you're a miracle. I've got to tell you, you are a miracle to be standing or sitting in this room right now, living life, breathing, being able to operate all of the activities that go in your body right now that are keeping you alive. Your body's constantly working to keep you alive. It spends its whole lifetime trying to keep you alive. So what you give it to use, the tools you give it to use, become extremely relevant. So it's like, do you want to build your house on sand or do you want to build it on rock? This is where, to go back to an old scripture. But we have, we have a lack of dietary education regarding the importance of vitamin nutrition. We combine that with vegophobia, and we have inflammation. It's a silent killer. About 60 to 70, maybe even 80% of all diseases known to Americans right now today is caused by a condition called inflammation. Even heart attacks and heart disease. I want someone, if someone has proof that statins work, I'd like to see the study, because my cardiologist can't seem to find that research for me. So anyway, but we get a little stubborn, we get a little apathetic about our diets. We don't like change, we don't like things new, we get busy, our lifestyles, we're addicted to convenience, and we love the instant gratification we get. Where do you go when you're bummed out? Where do you go when you get a little stressed, you're a little hurting? I go to a piece of chocolate cake. Or, you know, we all tend to go, I don't really do that, but I mean, we all tend to gravitate towards something that makes us feel good instantly, and that's usually something that's bad for us, like anything that has sugar, flour, and fast food, and like a piece of chocolate cake. But we love that instant gratification we get from eating burgers and fries and KFC and poop tarts, because of fat, sugar, salt, cheese, cigarettes, alcohol, and caffeine have a way of making us feel temporarily good. It doesn't last. What I'm suggesting is last. When you start eating close to earth, that good feeling you get will last and last and last. But artificial food colorings we talked about, and now, I don't know if you watch the news enough to realize that Monsanto just lost a multi-million-dollar lawsuit because they've proven without a doubt that the chemical glyphosate that is in Roundup herbicide is in literally, the FDA can't find any product on the grocery store shelves that does not contain this chemical called glyphosate, which has been proven without a doubt to cause cancer in human beings, and they've known this for 20 years. And now it's in Kellogg's, it's in all the cereals, it's in the stocks of Monsanto just dropped, plummeted to the basement. All the Kellogg, yeah, all the Kellogg, yeah. Well, see, that's because we're speaking, we're becoming aware, we're not letting them bulldoze us, we're not letting them decide what's good for our holy temple. This is your only vehicle you have to get through life, and it's beautiful. You're a miracle, you're driving, you're the sole architect of your health. Not Tony the Tiger or Betty Crocker or Aunt Jemima. Aunt Jemima, there's something for you. I used to come out and eat breakfast, and she'd see me in my skivvies and pour all over my stuff, and then I realized, my God, this is not even maple syrup. It's pure high fructose corn syrup with maple flavoring in it, and your body's going, what? Really? You know. But the people who make it go, we don't care. Just give them whatever they want. They'll buy it. Just market it with a pretty little lady on there telling them to just pour it on your pancakes, which are made from white flour, which is going to exacerbate inflammation. So you're eating inflammation on a plate rather than a vitamin pill on a plate. And then we reach out, we go out and we raise our ugly fist to God and say, why am I sick? Why am I fat? Why do I have disease? It must be God's will. God's will. Again, find a new God, because if you worship a God that His will is for you to get sick, then you worship the wrong God. Hallelujah. I mean, you tell both my grandfathers were minister. Anyway. Talk about artificial sweeteners. Sweet and Low, Splenda, and NutraSweet. Splenda, NutraSweet, Sweet and Low. What's the other one? Aspartame. Oh, that's NutraSweet. Anyway, when you put these things in your body, here's the recent science. I have a syndicated column. I better do my homework, or someone's going to get in my face when I don't have my stats right, so I have to learn to be very careful. Sweet and Low is made from coal tar. It's an extract from the coal tar industry. I'm not sure that's supposed to be in our body. What? I'm in the hospital one time, told I was going to die, and I pick up a little pink thing. I go, oh, may cause death. Hey, yeah, all kinds of irony in there. And then I started doing Splenda. And I thought, oh, I'll switch to Splenda. Well, I started getting that. Pretty soon I was getting, God, come and take me now, migraines. I mean, it was like, oh, please. I was on the floor. My wife will tell you, it was like, I'm going to die. Couldn't figure out what, I mean, I never experienced this excruciating pain in my life. So I decided it was the Splenda, because I was eating 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of them a day in my teas, and I drank green tea all day long, which is probably excessive. Well, the day I quit Splenda was the day that my migraines went away. Eventually, I found out that Splenda, just recently, the science has been coming out. You know, we're all telling us to take probiotics to keep the inside of our bodies safe. You know, Jamie Lee Curtis is selling all these things, and these kombucha and all these various things that are out there right now we're supposed to be eating. But then you eat Splenda and actually destroys all the balance of the bugs in your ecosystem. And having an equal balance of good and bad bacteria in your GI tract is crucial to maintaining your body's ability to fight off and fend off any kind of disease that might be coming your way. Whether it's a cold or whether it's autoimmune disease. Your body has the ability to do all that. But anyway, well, then NutraSweet. The most complained about aspartame, and look on your beverages, it's in everything, aspartame. The patent for it can be found online, okay? So Donald Rumsfeld gets involved with the company that makes it many years ago in order to get this product pushed through. Matter of fact, he was paid $12 million to make sure that NutraSweet got approved and got in the American food system. It is, first of all, a neurotoxin. These are all facts you can do. And in the report, it says that aspartame, Nutrisweet, the thing we pour in all of our food, is actually made from the feces of a genetically modified bacteria. And that is what you're eating when you put aspartame and you drink it. Does that bother you at all? I mean, I just want you to know, I'm not making this up. You can go online and read this. And if that's the kind of aberrance that we're putting into this holy temple, I love myself. I don't know about you, but I care about what goes inside this body because I know that everything I eat leaves an imprint, leaves an effect, leaves a trail, leaves a weight, whatever you want to call it. And it's either going to be a good one or a bad one. So that's where the choices come in. Life is nothing but a series of one choice after another. So we've unknowingly surrendered our gift of health to those who couldn't care less. I mentioned that before. Why are we here is what I want to ask. I mean, I'm here to be happy, healthy, whole, to open my heart, to stretch out my hand, and to broaden minds. That's kind of what I've decided to do. And being inflamed, sick, and unfulfilled, folks, it's not natural. Perfect health is created from eating from the verdant apothecary, not a factory. So somebody asked me the other day, what is food? What is food? Define it. Look at how do they define food? Well, food is defined in Webster's as particular kinds of solid plant and animal foods humans and all life eat consistently to nourish, sustain, and it's essentially protein, carbohydrates, fat, minerals, vitamins, and enzymes used by your holy temple for an organism to sustain growth, supply energy, to repair, to rebuild, to protect, to support all the vital processes like breathing, digesting, thinking, mental processing, walking, praying, loving, and hugging, everything you do. Your everyday life and well-being depends on plants. They are the backbone of all life on earth and an essential resource for all mankind. Real food, what it does, it nourishes each of your trillions of cells, and these are the building blocks that do all these aforementioned things, that repair, rebuild, maintain, communicate. They even replace them. So every year your body, did you know every year your body replaces literally every cell in your body? I used to look at my skin and go, oh, I've had this since I was 5. No, it's been replaced every year for all these years I've been alive. So when you know your body is constantly working to rebuild itself, you got to think, what kind of ingredients, what kind of tools am I giving my body to keep this beautiful, vibrating, massive molecules together and healthy while it's walking this earth over its lifetime? Real food nourishes your cells. It keeps your youth, your health, your eyes, your skin, everything about you, all your beauty. Beauty comes from within. You can put all the spackle on your face you want. Yeah. Spackle, spackle, spackle. But you know, the basic thing is I saw a lady who I lectured at Indiana Power and Life for years and years, and this lady came back to me the next year. Came back, and she saw me. Hey, Chef, how you been? It's been a year. How you doing? And she just ran up to me and she had tears coming down. Like, oh, wow, what's going on here? And she just threw her arms around me, hugged me. She goes, well, I did what you said last year. I suggested they pick 3 things and quit them and replace them with healthier habits. So the lady quit drinking diet soda and started drinking more water. And she started eating more fruits and vegetables. And I think that was basically it. She stopped eating, I think, a lot of junk food. But anyway, she comes up to me and she goes, my husband is chasing me around the house now like I'm a bride again. My sons, who normally don't want anything to do with mom, they want to spend more time with me. My friends say something really cool is going on with me. They just can't put their finger on it. And she pulls me. She gets close and like she didn't want to share it. And I feel amazing. I feel closer to God. I never heard that before. Wow, that's pretty cool. So everything about this woman, and her skin was glowing. They were tears of joy. Isn't it beautiful? She was so happy with what she discovered that she had been missing by eating foods that went against her nature, that she was so full of joy that she was crying. She couldn't, I mean, that's the kind of, I know sometimes I talk to people who've overcome and have gradually started reintroducing new food. And the first thing we'll say, I didn't realize how good I could feel one day. You didn't realize there's another level of feel good just waiting for you. You know, when we're living down here, we could be living way up here. And those are based on the choices that we make when we go to the grocery store and the restaurant, and hopefully a farmer's market occasionally too. You know, I said a while ago that your earth suit spends its entire life keeping you alive. Think about what it does on a daily basis. Thousands of functions. Your heartbeat, your breathing, your thinking, your digesting, healing, replacing those dead cells, filtering your body, detoxifying, helping your brain file away the day's lessons learned, and your cells basically remember everything. Your body's making sure that we breathe while we're sleeping, stopping cuts from bleeding, fixing broken bones, and finding ways to beat illnesses that might be coming at you. Your cells use what you consume to maintain all of this that we're talking about. Yet most of us treat our cars and our house plants and our iPhones better than we treat ourselves. We must learn that food is not just calories. The food we eat gives our bodies information and materials needed to function properly. We should have listened to this guy 400 BC. This man was preaching this, and we've gotten so far away. Hippocrates is the father of medicine. He's the one that Hippocratic Oath. Everybody, you've heard about the Hippocratic Oath? Yeah, next time you see your doctor, he gives you a pill that has all the side effects you see on TV. Well, it took half an hour for them to announce the side effects, and then say, what do we have in the Hippocratic Oath you took that says, first do no harm? And you think, Cindy and I were watching TV last night, and I said, listen to all those things that are going wrong with that person. You know, if you take this medicine, you may not have this going on, but you're going to, all these other things could happen. All these other things that could happen are your body's way of saying, no, this shouldn't be in my body. Let nature nurture. Now, I wouldn't be alive today if it weren't for some pharmaceutical drugs. Please, don't get me wrong. There's a place for pharmaceutical drugs. I'm not criticizing it. It's the overuse of the pharmaceutical drugs, and there's kind of thrown at them. But the thing is, we're very eager in our obedience and servitude towards big food, big pharma. We need to divorce from them and reconnect with nature, and then we can change the direction of this ship real quick. Food is medicine, and medicine is food. I mean, it's just I just got to think that this world was created with everything that we need on it. Mother Earth, Gaia, Pachamama, whoever you call the spirit of the earth, has everything for us. There's a pharmacy, there's water, there's light, there's air, there's oxygen, there's sun, there's wind, there's fire. Everything that goes together to make us what we are and who we are and make this beautiful world we live in, because it's a beautiful world. But we're not being led down the road that can also make us be beautiful members of that earth. We're not eating from nature, and we're suffering dearly for it. So your food is information, and your food is materials that speak literally to your DNA. If we eat the right information, our life-sustaining processes will be right on spot. If we don't eat that food, our life-sustaining process will suffer. Now, I don't know about you, I've said this a couple of times, and this is something you need to think about. This is the decisions you made. Dead, if you want to make an education for eat dead or living food. There's a ceremonial mystic importance ascribed to food. For many, eating is a mechanical habit, yet it has a depth that cannot be ignored. The quality of your food dictates the quality of your aliveness, how you feel at every moment. You must also always ask yourself, is this food feeding me, or is this food depleting me? You know, I see these kids on my street corner getting ready to live in Fountain Square. And I see these people on the street corners getting ready to go to school, kids. And their mother has given them either a Mountain Dew or a full sugar Coke and a Pop-Tart. And that's the breakfast they send them off to school with. And then they expect them to come home and, why didn't you get good grades? Well, Mommy, my brain was fuzzy, I don't have any nutrition. So basically it falls back on you. I mean, you got to look at the parents. Come on, man, it's the parents. If you can't, I mean, I love my mother. I'm a different generation, I realize, and I realize things are different now. But I mean, having a nice cooked breakfast by your mother with the love coming out of her hands into the food is the best way to send your children off. Don't just throw a Pop-Tart in them because you're too busy on social media to cook for them. And you know, I can't even talk to them. You're so, yeah, going to school, I'll see you later, I'm talking here. We've just lost touch with so many things in this new world today, especially our ability to make good decisions. You know, honestly, when I started eating better, I found out I had skills I didn't even know I had. I was not giving my body enough of the materials that it needs to actually release what the gift that was given to me by my Creator is. Everybody was given a gift. Some of us open up the gift, some of us don't. I open mine up with eagerness. But what happened is after I stopped poisoning myself, or not, let's say not poisoning myself, but denying my body the proper nutrition, I found out I could do stuff. I was a chef, I was a good one. I had a great business. My wife and I had a cool catering company. We're doing great, you know, like I said, we came from presidents and MBAs and la-ti-das and having a great time. But I started feeling differently. I started thinking differently. Everything about me started to change. I found out I had skills I didn't know I had. Pretty soon I found I'm writing a column for IBJ. Well, now I've written for them for 15 years now. I guess it's been almost 20 years, whatever. I didn't know I could stand in front of a TV audience for 16 years and hold down a thing like that. I didn't know I could write a column. I didn't know I could do half the stuff that I'm doing right now until I laid my body an opportunity to do what it was designed to do. I was personally blocking my ability to become my highest self. Pretty uncool. But I'm telling you, it's worth it to go through all of this. Because when you come out on the other side, man, I can't even begin to tell you, you'll be astonished. You'll be absolutely astonished how good you will feel. You don't look in that mirror and go, hey, and the glow comes back to your face, and you got a little more energy, you know, you got that chunk in the trunk, hey! And pretty soon someone's telling you, hey, look at you! And that's how it starts, that's how it radiates from you. Be the change you want to be, active, do it, don't just talk about it. I just want to get you motivated, Daddy. You hold keys. No one else is here to make your health better except your choices and your decisions. You know, do we want to eat fake? I don't know about you, but I don't want to eat anything fake. I become less of who I am. You know, you can learn how to cook. You can watch YouTube. My kids are showing me, younger millennials who I love, are starting to show me that there's a gazillion ways to learn things on YouTube now. So if you don't know how to cook something, get out the old YouTube. I mean, that's opened up a new world for me. And this old timer here, I'm starting to realize that there's a lot of material out there. A lot of kids are turning off the television where all this bad information is coming from. Eat this and don't eat that. And they're going to YouTube looking for the truth of what it is. What truth? They're finding what they can be. They're finding out that they're a special person. We have power. We're more powerful than we've been told. We can do things. You ever think about praying over your food? Let's say you got a plate of bad food. You don't want to. You know, we kind of prayer openly, you know, okay, blah, blah, blah. We just recite this monotone thing, you know, we just hurry up and let's just eat. But do you know that you are a light being? Even the Bible says this. You're a being of light. You're made of light. Your light radiate out from you. I was out with dinner the other day and someone ate dinner and they took their hand over the food like this and just they closed their hand like they were praying. They were praying. But instead of doing this, they were just doing that. And I said, later on, I said, what are you doing? She goes, I was blessing my food because I have light coming out of me. And if I bless my food with not only my words, but my action and my dispense an energy that radiates from me, that science proves comes out of everybody, then I can bless that food and maybe make it a little bit more nourishing from what they say. Bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies. We say on Sunday mornings, then we rip into fried chicken and eat fried fish and a plate of carbohydrates, potato salad. Oh yeah, thank you God. I weigh 300 pounds, boy. Chicken and dumplings sure is good. Yeah. All sorts of irony here, but you can see these are the things that I cherish. I cherish those memories. I cherish those times of those wonderful things that we ate, those church organizations. But on the other hand, yeah, they were fun, but we paid the price as a society. We're the 150th most unhealthy nation on planet Earth, whereas we used to be #1 healthiest. We have the highest health care cost of any nation on planet Earth. And yet, we're unhappy, we're depressed, we're diminished, we're unfulfilled. We're not meeting our highest potential. So we want to get away from a lot of these foods. But there are some challenges. I have to admit there's bad food everywhere, and bad food tastes a whole lot better than good food sometimes. They put these maltodextrins in there and these flavor enhancers, so when you get a chip or something, your mouth explodes with flavor. You're not going to get that from a piece of broccoli, obviously, so you're going to choose the high flavor over the broccoli. It's just your taste buds. It's just our natural proclivity to be attracted to certain things. We can buy most everything today already pre-cooked. I picked up a package, I did one of my YouTube, I have a YouTube channel called Chef Wendell Fowler, and I did a video where I went to the grocery store and picked up products, and there's this beautiful thing of macaroni and cheese that had lobster in it, and I thought, wow, that looks so good. And I turned it over, and I'm telling you folks, I think the video is still out there. It was an 8-paragraph list of ingredients that wrapped all the way around the package. You had to go, oh my God, I couldn't even pronounce some of that, the ingredients of jet fuel. But yet, ask yourself, do you really look at a label when you go to a grocery store? Do you honestly? You gotta ask yourself that. Or do I just grab it because it's the blue box and I'm used to that brand and I'm gonna take it and put it in my cart because that's what I'm familiar with? Or do I want to step out of the side of the box, take a chance and live on the wild side and try something that might actually be good for me? You have the power. Power of the choice. Right now, we're the sum of all of our choices. Your health is the end result of every choice you've made about what you put in your mouth. Food addiction, we talked about that. The challenges are we like to eat microwave food. And microwave food, I don't know if you know this, but if you take an apple, science, that's loaded with the most antioxidants of any apple. They have 20 or 30,000 different chemicals in an apple. They're still trying to figure out everything that's in an apple. It's so healthy. And most of it's in the skin. But if I were to take that apple and put it in a microwave and set it on maybe a couple minutes, maybe 3 minutes, short burst, not so bad. But if I were to put it in there and cook that apple, or a baked potato, or a baked sweet potato, whatever you put, what you pull out of that microwave is entirely different than what you put in. Kills all the energy of that plant. Destroys all the nutrients in it. But boy, you got it quick. So the trade-off for convenience in that thing, you got to understand, they're not telling you this. So when I see someone tell me to take a whole zucchini squash or a spaghetti squash and put it in the microwave first to heat it, I'm going, I think I'm going to turn on my oven for a little bit and I'm going to take some time. Because we're all moving too fast on this earth. We don't have that much to do. Come on, we got to make the time to get back in the kitchen. And I say, get thee back into thy kitchen and stir on the stove. Sandy, I'll tell you, we catered for people's houses where we'd open up the stove and the microwave, or no stove, and they were using it to store pastries and breads, and they never baked, they never cooked. They bought everything from the store. So money doesn't buy intelligence. I learned so. It's true, some people will tell you that it's too difficult and expensive to eat healthy, and there's some value to that, I understand. You can go out and get a hamburger for $1, but a thing of fruit salad costs you $7. And some people have limited income, and I realize a lot of your dish choices are made on the fact that that's all you can afford. I can't afford anything but Debbie's and Ho-Ho's and Pop-Tarts and all this nasty food. So they've made healthy food expensive and cheap food affordable, and therein lies the problem. So again, you can't blame yourself. It is what it is. You got to pay. You've only got X amount of money to spend, but it's easier to find a good salad, a bad salad, or a good salad at $7, and there's a burger and fries for $3. So we just need to get past that. We need to get rid of the fear of change that we have. There's a lot of enablers out there. There's people out there who still to this day like to put bacon in my face. I've been a vegetarian now for almost 30 years. I'm not saying this for everybody. It just worked for me. When you get out of the hospital after you kick death's butt, you kind of get a new resolve in you to not want to go back down into it again. So it makes the change a little bit easier. There's a lot of enablers. There's people who are trying to get you to eat bad stuff. There's a lot of smart mom advertising to our children, getting them to eat certain foods that we know darn well aren't good for them. And they're cleaning it up, though. I got to admit, some of the companies are starting to clean it up. So there's a good reason to be hopeful. And the ridicule we get, deceptive marketing, there's a lot of that. And there's a lot of disinformation out there coming at you that tells you that, well, recently they were saying coconut oil is good for you, then they say it's bad for you. They say coffee's good for you, eggs, and then it comes back and forth. In the meantime, you're all scratching your head going, wow, what the heck, I'm going to eat it anyway until they make up their mind, you know. But that's exactly what they want you to do. They want you to be confused, so you still to stick with what you want to do. So the solution is to open your heart, discover the self-compassion that you have for yourself, that I know is in each one of you. You need to do some dietary re-education. You need to go out and start learning more, get off the TV and go to the web and start learning more information. There's good websites and there's bad websites. Later on, I'll be selling my book outside. I've got 4 books. It's full of information. If you're interested in talking about that and asking me questions, I'll be there for you. We need to pay mindful attention to what we put into our bodies. We need to be mindfully choose what we eat, make conscious, educated decisions. And shopping, start reading labels. It's so important that you start looking at the label. I wouldn't have known that I had an 8-paragraph ingredients list if I hadn't picked it up. If I just thought, ooh, that sounds good, the verbiage on it is beautiful, that sounds delicious, that will make me happy temporarily, then I'm going to buy it. But I wouldn't buy it if I hadn't read that ingredient list on the back. So one of my friends bought it actually, and later on he put their head down, oh, I didn't read it. But anyway, that's okay. It's all right. And so one thing Sandy and I have started to do, and we've been successfully doing, is don't bring temptation home. I know that I'm weak like anybody else, and if a piece of pie comes home or somebody brings a cake home from the wedding or birthday party at my kid's house and brings it home, I'm going to eat it. Because the next day I know how to get myself back. It's not that I'm totally depriving myself of what I like. But anyway, I'm doing my best. We figure if we don't bring it in the house, we're not going to eat it. And we prove it. If we bring it in the house, it gets eaten. So just don't bring temptation home. That's very important. And then give yourself time. Your body is going to need changes, time to change, and acclimate itself to any new changes. To give you an example, Sandy and I, on our 2nd anniversary, we did a repeat of our honeymoon, and we went down to Nashville, Indiana. And we had just gotten on our vegetarian roll. We'd agreed to do it together, and to do it with somebody makes it wonderful to have a partner to do this with you. So anyway, we're on the driving down to Nashville, and I'm going, hey, you want to cheat one more time? Come on, let's cheat. It's not what you do. You're supposed to have fun, right? And we're not. It's not supposed to be a boring life. We can cheat once in a while as long as you don't do it all the time. Well, we learned a lesson. So I'm going down there, and we found this little spot. It's gone now, but cheeseburger and onion rings is what it was all about, I think. Wasn't that it, honey? Cheeseburger and onion rings. And so we ate that. We rented a cabin up in the woods. And you rent these cabins that have everything. All you need to do is bring your groceries and your dog, and you can hang out. It's really cool. So we were going to head up there, so we thought we did. So we ate that, and oh boy, it was good. Whoa, it was delicious. And so, we drove up to our place, started unpacking it. And it was about 45 minutes later, about as long as it takes you to get off on the food or a pharmaceutical drug type of thing. I'm sure the cows, for miles around, we were singing the love theme to The Exorcist. I mean, it's like, Once in the bathroom, it was our body saying, what did you just do? Now you cleaned yourself up, you got your body, we're zooming along, we didn't expect that, and all of a sudden you reintroduce all this stuff into your body. All I'm trying to say is that your body does change, and it needs time to make those changes, so that's why you don't want to make all kinds of changes all at the same time. Plus, you get discouraged if you have to make all those changes at once. Just make one little change, get used to it, go on, get used to it, make it a habit. And then go on, because believe me, your body will tell you. So when even today I'll have somebody say, oh yeah, I cheated and I had a burger, oh it tasted good, but I really feel like crap right now. And they have to be honest and go, yeah, the only thing I did that was different is when I put. So think about it, if you eat that food all the time, how much better you could feel if you just start weaning it out of your diet. Maybe you don't eat it all the time. If you're going to eat a big piece of pizza, for example, for goodness sake, eat a big bowl of salad, big balance. It's all about balance. Keep it balanced. I'm not saying walk away totally from the food you like. Start eating more healthy foods along with it. If you eat a big piece of steak and a baked potato, well, those are the two things that are so hard. When you put baked potatoes, the chemicalization of those two foods into your body, your chemistry, your body struggles hard to digest that food, and you get tired. What do we do after we sleep? We eat big meals. Because all the oxygen is down in our stomach, working hard to digest what you just threw at it, and there's precious little for your brain. Therefore, we always run to the Barca Lounger after Thanksgiving dinner, just to take a nap and loosen the belt and go, oh yeah. Because we've eaten so much food, our body's like struggling. And you ever heard somebody say they have the meat sweats? I hate that word. Well, think about it. You eat so much meat that your body's going, oh, it's like running up. Okay, I'll be right with you. I mean, you're sweating it because your body is actually, your heart's going boom, 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 trying to digest all you're doing is putting the accelerator on your life, on the end of your life. You're shortening your body's ability to live as long as it could live in the fashion that you like to live it, happy, free, and loved. You know? Enjoying your grandkids, enjoying your vacation, going out in the yard, sitting in the sun, all these things. Now we're told to put so much sunscreen on us that we're never going to get any vitamin D synthesized because your body is such a miracle that when the sun hits it, your body produces vitamin D. Wow, that is so cool. But if you don't have sun, at least get 10 or 15 minutes of sun. That's okay. Then put on the stuff. But that's why we don't have vitamin D in our system because, well, first we don't eat it in our food, and then we cover our skin so we don't get any vitamin D production and stop the miracle of our own photosynthesis. So anyway, you can see, we took a good honest look, got on the road, and I tell you, we've never, ever looked back. It's been a wonderful time. We talked about the solution here. I think y'all can pretty much figure this out. Reconnect, earth. Start taking in that energy of the earth. Eat more organic and processed foods. I know organic's expensive, but you know, farmers market produce, if you go and support your local farmers, has infinitely less chemicals on it than the stuff you get at the grocery store. Plus the stuff you get at the farmers market was grown right outside your country, or right outside your county. It was grown within 50 to 100 miles of where you live. To consume probiotics, start eating your bugs. This bone broth thing is pretty cool. Getting your body healthy. Turmeric, ginger, basil, all these foods help in quelling inflammation. Start reading your labels. Can't pronounce it, don't eat it. Eat local, support your local economy. And then seek balance between your meats and your plant foods. If you want to eat meat, I cannot tell you not to. All I'm asking you is to increase the amount of produce, fresh, clean, not green beans that were cooked 12 hours in a crock pot with a chunk of ham. Because I grew up and that boy was good, but boy, I could have eaten this piece of paper and gotten more nutrition on it. You know, but fresh green salads, this is my cookbooks are all about. They're all about easy, simple things you can buy at the grocery store, the way that God wanted you to eat that makes you grow and become the best person you can possibly be. So, and also practice some self-compassion. Be aware. We don't love ourselves enough in this world. We compare our lives on Facebook and we watch other people and think we could be like them. You know, I'm here to tell you something. You're perfect just the way you are. You're enough. You're more than enough. Don't ever think you're not worthy because you're a worthy soul. And that's why I want you to do this. So start doing things like bulk cooking. Get the gals together on a Saturday afternoon. Make big batches of stuff. And each girl cooking their own dish. And y'all go home and freeze this stuff. Y'all got homemade food. And casseroles, all these things you can do. I make my own, well, I used to make my own granola. Now I might usually. Eat a lot of whole grains. Make your sauces. Sometimes make salsa in a jar. And then make your dressings out of a jar too. You could, you know, you go to a grocery store and buy a jar of salad dressing. It's got all these ingredients I've been telling you about in it. Man, was a ranch dressing. Please drop the ranch. Please walk away from the salad container. That's just nasty stuff. But now I take a little oil and vinegar and I put it in a ball jar. I have my salt, my pepper, a little garlic, and shake it up. I got vinaigrette. And I'll tell you, my family loved it. And they grew up on ranch dressing. Now I'm showing them how to make a ball jar of vinaigrette. And by golly, 4 or 5 ingredients, shake it up, leave it on the counter, and you don't have to pay $5 for a jug of salad dressing at the grocery store. That's getting control of it. Substitute Himalayan salt, which is like a mineral pill, for sea salt. There's just found out there's plastic in the sea salt now. Go to raw honey, maple syrup, stevia, date, palm, coconut sugars. They're all there. Get rid of your processed sugar. Processed sugar is nothing but cancer fertilizer, and it inflates and causes inflammation. It's like throwing, eating sugar is like the equivalent of throwing rapid growth fertilizer on your garden. It feeds cancer cells and makes them grow. You're not told this. We switched from canned veggies to fresh. Sorry about that. Almond butter for jarred peanut butter. Oh, peanut butter is omega-6. Too much omega-6 is not good for us. So almond butter, you can get it at the health food stores. They have a machine. You pull down a thing and it grinds it. We love that. Switch brown rice for white rice. Brown rice is a fibrous carb. White rice is just the same as eating sugar. Do almond, coconut, hemp, or cashew milk for full-fat dairy. Cheese is a bad one. Cheese is something you need to really make a... You need to think about it. Cheese is as addictive as crack cocaine, folks, I'm telling you right now. That was the front page of the New York Times. No, LA Times. White flour, pasta, I go with Barilla Plus. That's what I like. We've started drinking Bragg's apple cider vinegar almost every day in a solution of lemon juice and water. We switched to Ezekiel bread instead of whole wheat, because even whole wheat bread has a lot of white flour in it. And for protein, obviously lean animal protein and local meats, that's good, but we switched to tempeh, a product called corn, which is English sort of protein, quinoa, and there's lots of different meat substitutes out there. So all I did is we want to reconnect with nature, support the farmers markets, cook with your loving hand, because that's an ingredient grandma used to put in there, isn't it? Ditch the microwave, use it to maybe just warm up your tea if you have to. We distinguish the inflammation, get rid of all these things, prevent cancer, lower our blood pressure, reverse heart disease, all these various things that you're reading in front of you right now. We can balance the body's microbiome. There's a lot of science right now about what goes on inside your body. And those bugs are very important. You live in a world. There's 7 pounds of bacteria and microbes in your body right now that if they weren't there, you would not be able to live. So we have to strike a balance between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. But don't get candied things like Yoplait and Colombo that have sugar in their yogurts. Get a plain yogurt that hasn't got any flavor. Put your big boy pants on and just get through it. You know? don't use flavor as your criteria for whether something's going to be eaten or not. I could put a vitamin in front of somebody, it would save their life, but if it didn't taste good, they wouldn't want anything to do with it. So anyway, what are we here for? To be happy, healthy, whole, to shine a light that we are to everybody around us and your family. You got family that love and need you, and they need you to be fully ready to go. That's a great motivation. We were created to express perfect health in the image of whatever God that you worship. We need to activate the forces within us. They are there. We have an inner healer that came with us, and when we were born, when we chose to come into this world. The human body, you must understand, is and always will be the most complicated machine in the universe. And we treat it like a ride at King's Island sometimes. So. But it controls those thousands of daily functions that keep you alive and the cute, wonderful, unique, loving person that you are. Unlimited potential. You're stardust. I love the way Carl Sagan said, we're stardust, just the universe appreciating it. The universe is experiencing itself in human form. I always thought that was beautiful, because we are made of stardust. If you were to break us down chemically, we would be the same ingredients that came from a planet anywhere in the universe. So we are part of the universe. So when we eat from the universe, we get healed. When we eat from a factory, our body doesn't understand what's going on. So you're deeply loved and needed by many, many people. And I love y'all. I want to see you change. I think y'all can do it. I really think there's something deep inside all of us that gives us, it's like that. We want to live. We all struggle to live every day, but we need to choose about what quality of life we want. Make a few changes. Love yourself a little bit. Look in that mirror and love what you see. Realize that you're not your body. You are a soul. You're an energy. And that energy wants you to take care of this vessel that gets you through this world. And you know, I don't know what you think we're here for, but I want to learn. I want to walk this earth. I want to feel the wind. I want to see the trees. I want to feel the sun on my skin, and I want to live as fully as I can. And I can only do that if I start making different decisions about what I put inside this beautiful holy temple. And all I'm doing today is asking y'all. I know this is an arduous thing to ask. It's a lot of change going on. Find someone to help you. There's another level of feel good, just waiting for you to crack open just a little bit so it can pour in and fill you and make you the most complete person, the highest version of yourself, the most unique version of yourself possible. And I thank you very much.